What is up, guys? Another THOUGHTCAST unscripted video coming to you live from Cleveland, Ohio. I'm on my way to my office to get a few things, but I've been getting a lot of questions in regards to girls' trips to Miami. A guy messaged me the other day on social media and was asking, hey, my girl wants to go on a girls' trip to Miami, Florida. Her friends bought her a ticket and an Airbnb for her birthday. How should I feel about this? And honestly, it's the summertime. I get a lot of questions in regards to this, and I think that it's time that I finally answer it. So first and foremost, what you guys got to understand is when your girl is going on a trip with her girlfriends, it's typically not a good thing in my opinion. I'll tell you exactly why, right? Girls' trips, from what I know, from what I've seen, from what I've experienced, and from other women that I know, are typically they're always up to no good, right? And it goes the same way for boys' trips as well. I'm not saying that boys are innocent here. This is not what I'm trying to get at. But girls' trips are notorious for what happens in Vegas stays for Vegas type mindsets, meaning that they're going to do whatever they want to do. They're going to go out, they're going to flirt, they're going to get attention, and they may or may not do anything with the guy. I'm not saying that every girls' trip has bad intentions, but a lot of them end up with results, because the difference between girls and guys is girls can go out to a club in any city. An attractive girl can step out to a bar and a guy will approach her. She can talk to a guy and a guy will want to take her home, whether she's in California or New York. It could be anywhere. And that's the danger of having a girlfriend that's attractive that wants to go on these girls' trips, right? Now, the first thing that you got to understand is, why does she want to go on a trip with her girls? Why does she want to go on a trip with other women? And that's the main danger. Now, if they're all married, if they're, with kids and stuff like that, it's different. There's a lot of girls' trips where girls just go to relax and just have a good time, gossip, drink a little bit, that's fine. But if it's all single girls, and your girlfriend is in a relationship and she's going with her single friends, you already know what is going down, especially if she's going to a city like Miami. Now, I know exactly why Miami is a travel destination, because Miami is filled with millionaires, billionaires, NFL players, NBA players, yachts, fun restaurants, bars, bottle service, everything. It is a woman's playground. An attractive woman can carve through Miami. And it's a lot of fun. Like, if I was a young girl, like 20, 21, you bet I'd be going to Miami, because I can get courted and seduced and really hit on by all the top level guys. A young girl that's 21 years old can go to Miami with $5 in her bank account, and she can come back with $5 in her bank account, because guys will literally pay for everything. She can go anywhere, does not have to worry about things. And a lot of girls, seriously, there's a whole caliber of women out there, go out with the mindset of finding a sugar daddy, a guy on the side. See, guys think that they're the only ones that are bad. Like, they're the only ones that have rosters. Women have rosters too. Women have the triple threat roster, which is typically the guy that's a player, the athlete, the guy that has stuff going on for him that doesn't give her a lot of attention. They have the simp, right, which is typically the boyfriend. I'm just sorry to say it like this. And they have the guy that's usually the sugar daddy, the provider, the one that isn't necessarily a player, but he has resources. This is the triple threat roster that women would crave to have, especially when they're young. The problem is, when you send a girl off to these areas, she is fulfilled with all this attention. She is validated, she is verified, and she sees that there are a lot of guys out there that want her that are high caliber, because guys will say the craziest things in a club in Miami when they're in bottle service. Oh my God, you're so beautiful. Oh my God, I want to marry you. Oh my God, I want to put babies in you. They'll say crazy things. And it's hard for a woman to keep her ego in check. Like, I'm telling you, it's very difficult. I see regular girls go to Miami one time and they completely change their personality. And you see this, it's called the Miami effect. When girls move down there, in the first year, they've got lip filler, they've got a better body, they work out more, they care more about their appearance, they're very focused on fashion. It's not always a bad thing in the superficial aspects, but the personality also changes. She's more materialistic, she cares more about your social media, your followers, your influence, and this is the mindset that people have when they go to a city like this. When a city is so filled with tourism and money and attractions, you begin to become focused on the short-term attraction. So when you send your girl to a Miami trip and she goes with her single girlfriends and she's going into Club Live and she's getting pulled into a millionaire section and this guy's talking to her and, she's like, oh, I have a boyfriend. He's going to say the craziest things. He's going to dog you. He's going to bash you. And he's going to come off in a way where he's going to have a point of authority. And this is a situation that you don't want your girlfriend in. Nobody should really be testing their relationship out there. If you try to control your girlfriend to go on this trip, she's going to say a few things. Number one, she's probably going to say, you don't trust me. Number two, she's going to say, oh, you're trying to control me. And number three, she's going to say, I'm not even interested. I love you. I don't look at any other man. They're all disgusting. I know how players are. Listen, don't listen to any of this stuff. Do not believe anything she says. I say this with so much love. Even if it might be true, even if her mindset is like that, the environment is what dictates what you do. If you go to a Spanish-speaking country, eventually you're going to speak Spanish. You can say, oh, I speak English and English only. You're going to eventually speak Spanish. If you go to a pool party, you're probably going to get wet. If you go to Egypt in the middle of summer, you're probably going to sweat a little bit. And if you go to Miami and you're a young girl, number one, you don't want to put your relationship through a situation where it has to be put to the test. Like, you don't want to put that trust to the test. Number two, yeah, you should have boundaries as a guy. You should have some things that you're not okay with. If you're in a relationship with someone, there are certain things that you can and can't do. You know, you could go it the other way, saying, oh, you don't want me to sleep around with women, and you can say, oh, you're trying to control me. But that's just the rules of a relationship. That's the idea of a commitment. And if your girl is saying, oh, you're the only man out there for me, I'm not interested in anybody, that is not true. If a girl is functioning normally in her head, she's going to find other men attractive. She's going to look at other men, and women are biologically wired to always look for what's better. They may not act on it. They may have loyalty. They may understand that athletes are like this, but in a certain hyper-focused situation where it's never going to get out and no one's ever going to see, she might test the waters. And this is something that you don't want to have happen to you while you're in a relationship. Let me switch gears here for a little bit, because I've talked a lot about women. Let me talk about men that go down to Miami. Now, the average guy that goes down to Miami is not like the average girl. A girl needs to show up to Miami with makeup, and that's it. Makeup, smell good, hair done, you're good. A guy has to go to a city like that with money. And the average guy, the average income in America, in the Western countries, is really 40 to 50,000, keeping it real. So an average guy with 40 to 50,000 is not even going to be able to compete in Miami. There's tables in Miami that are like 70 to 100K a night, okay? You got to understand it's a different level out there. I'm not saying an average guy can't go down and get a girl, but the chances of that happening are astronomically small compared to an average girl going down there and getting on a yacht and hooking up with some guy. That is very easy to do. Anywhere in the world, it's really easy for a girl to get that kind of access. You gotta understand, when a guy goes down to Miami, he doesn't have the same level of pull. In fact, he has a lower level of pull than anywhere else in the world, because when a guy goes down to Miami, he's not competing with other average guys. He's competing with multimillionaires, athletes, influencers, celebrities, ballers. He's competing with a whole different category of men out there. He's going out to Miami spending $200, which isn't anything crazy, right? The plane is not crazy. It's the Airbnbs costing over $1,000 for just a couple nights. Then he's got to go in the club, pay $50, $100 just to get in those nicer clubs. Then he's paying $17 for a Corona plus tip. It's a lot of money, first and foremost. His bank account is going to be drained. If he's going to go buy a girl a drink, that's a whole other thing. You got to understand that money is going to restrict him from doing things and not doing things. So the first thing you got to understand is financially, it's going to hurt him. Number two, he's not going to be able to compete financially on the category of these other men. So emotionally, he's also going to get hurt, because there's millionaires in front of him balling out. I've seen girls go to Miami with their boyfriend and get in another guy's section, and this guy is waiting in the crowd, watching his girlfriend get drinks poured down her throat. And even though she might come back to him at the end of the night, her whole mindset has shifted to, I want this. I want a guy that can do this for me. And that is a very slippery slope to be walking on. You do not want that. The big thing about Miami is that it puts regular guys in their place. It allows them to really feel like peasants. And it's harsh, but this is the truth. It's a whole caliber of guys out there that have money. It's unrealistic, but that's exactly where it goes on both ends. It puts them down to be humbled, and it allows women to be elevated in a different category. This is really, really bad for both genders, really, because those guys that are multimillionaires, that are balling out, they develop an ego, and they adopt short-term mating strategies. They don't want to settle down when they go to places like Miami. You look at a lot of guys that live in Miami that make a little bit of money, they are not in any position, in any mindset to settle down. That's why you have 65-year-olds with 18-year-old girlfriends. Yes, that does exist down there. And then you have the regular guys that go out to find love. The Miami dating scene is not necessarily a dating scene. It's a hookup culture. It's a transactional culture. It's a you do this for me and I'll do this for you. It is an escort-based culture. It's a flex my rented car culture. It's wear fake jewelry culture. It's act like I have money that I don't really have culture. It's lie on my resume culture. It's buy fake followers culture. That is what the culture is down there. There's a great sector of business for Miami. I'm not saying that Miami's a terrible place, but when it comes to partying and nightlife, trust me, it is not my favorite place. It's not my cup of tea. You can network with a lot of cool people there, but you can also network with a lot of people that aren't really anybody that claim to be someone they're not. So if your boyfriend wants to go on a Miami trip, I honestly would say, let him go. Let him go get humbled. Let him go experience that he can't have those things in life. And let him get inspired to become a better, high-earning individual so that he can provide for you better and provide for himself even more. A guy that goes to Miami is going to be inspired. He's going to see a Rolls Royce and see hot models getting out of it and be like, man, I want that. Because I'll tell you, I've been that person before. I've been someone that's gone to Miami making six figures and been like, wow, I can't compete with these millionaires out there. I can't compete with these guys out there. And it's really inspiring. When I went to Miami when I was younger, that is one of the biggest things that caused me to start getting in the mindset of, look, I need to accumulate financial stability so I can attract the highest quality woman in my life. Not necessarily an IG model from Miami, but just a regular girl, even from my hometown, and be able to provide her everything that she wants. Now, I'm not saying that these boys' trips don't have bad intentions, because guys go down with the mindset that they're going to go get this IG model, they're going to go get all these women, but that rarely ever happens unless it's spring break, right? Spring break in Miami is a different culture because a lot of college people go down there. But in a generalistic fashion, if a guy's going down to Miami to hit the clubs, listen, he's going to get humbled. He's just going to see what the world has to offer him, and it's not going to be very much in a place like that. So the moral of the story is this. If your girl is going to Miami, automatic red flag, it ain't your girl anymore. I hate to be so crude and harsh with it. I definitely know there's women out there that go and just enjoy themselves, but it's better safe than sorry. And if your guy is going on a trip to Miami, make sure that he checks in with you, make sure that he calls you, make sure he FaceTimes you, because honestly, a lot of times he comes back a better person. He comes back more humbled. He comes back looking at all the things out there and saying, I want this, I want to be better, and I want to be inspired. And he gets put in his place, and he might appreciate you a lot more.